Before I begin actually creating an interactive presentation, I thought let me just show you how it looks like. So let's say this is a presentation that I shared with my students, and we will be making a similar presentation in the next. Now, this is the way the student will see the presentation. So when I click on next, the first thing that he gets is a stress checker. So how is he feeling today? And I think that is one good way to start always. And the student can move this if something is bothering me, but I can still focus and to the other options. Going to the next. Now here we are going to talk about what do you know about today's topic. So here student can write what he feels about the topic. So let's say I have no knowledge on bias and fairness. So this is like your background knowledge probe that you take before we enter the classroom. Moving to the next slide. Now, this particular slide is about bias, and here there is a question about it. So, whatever the student must have understood from the previous two slides, the student will answer either true or false. So, let me just mark true and go to the next slide. Here, now we talk about variance and then summarize what you've just learned. So here the student will just write a summary of what he has understood in the previous slides. Then moving on to the next, this is again a demonstration. Then it was a graph, and now you would want the student to analyze it, understand what it was, and then the student will record his observation in this particular text box. So whatever the student is writing at the same time, as we'll see in the further things, the teacher will be able to know what the student is writing. So here it is again a question, and it talks about agree or disagree. So you may just select this and mark it here if you agree. And then moving on to the next, this is a part of the slide. And then moving on to the next, here you will see there is a website along with it. The next, you have a question which is based on this particular graph, and let's just mark the answer. Then you go to the next, and here you can see that the student is being asked to circle the area, a particular area on the graph. So the student can just readily go ahead and circle the point. So this is how the student is reading the presentation, grasping at the contents, and at the same time he is being asked to answer some questions based on that content. So here he has to draw lines to match the image to the answer. So here there are some images, let's say. You all must have done such kind of worksheets your uh, in your classes, in your schools. So you match it to the right answer. Then moving on to the next. So here you have to circle the correct choice. So there will be a question, and you have to just circle the corresponding image that must be the right answer for that particular question. So this is how this presentation looked like for the student, and I hope you can understand that this really provides a good way that the student can actually understand each and every concept and at the same time respond with answers. So this gives you a feedback on what the student is doing, because each of the answers that I have marked will be visible in the teacher dashboard, and the teacher will know how the student is doing on individual slide, what is he or she responding. And there are various other types of questions that you can put in for the student. For instance, if you move ahead, you'll be able to ask the student to write about what he learned from today's session. And moving forward, if the student has any doubts, the students can just write in the question that he has, and you can readily provide him a feedback and answer for that question. So here the student needs to say how he or she is feeling, and the student can just mark the good things. So this is how the presentation looked like.